Well, good morning. It's Longhaultanker coming at you from my home den shaving bathroom. I want you to imagine me this morning with a red Santa elf hat on with kind of the tassel lopped over, but I went looking I thought we had some, but I didn't, so I was going to do my shave in a red elf's hat. But just imagine, if you're creative, get that electronic tool that it can put stuff on the video, and just lap me over with a red elf's hat. Got a couple of things I want to talk about this morning, and got a new piece of equipment. I'm still waiting for the Simpson Chubby 3 Menturian Badger to come in. I thought it'd be in already from an estimated date that they sent me. It's coming by FedEx. But I'm tracking it. They gave me a tracking number. And it has moved from location to location all within the UK. It hasn't begun the transatlantic trip yet. So it'll get here when it gets here. But in the meantime, when I ordered the Simpson Chubby 3 Menturian Badger, it got me to thinking about Menturian Badgers. And quite coincidentally, I don't know if you follow Anthony Esposito, the stallion, on his shaving videos. He took quite a hiatus, about 4 months worth of hiatus, but he's just recently started up again within the last few days. But his first, I think it was his first, maybe second, video back, he showcased a couple, stand by, he showcased a couple of new shaving brushes from QED.com. They're the U.S. distributor for the Savile Row brand out of the UK. And I found them attractive. And so I ordered the two that he showcased. And the first is, I'm going to use it today, is the faux horn 24 millimeter Menturian Badger. Interesting thing. And then the other one he showcased was the garnet, faux garnet 24 millimeter Menturian Badger. Now I'll tell you, when you rub these on your face, they are just as soft as silk, whether it's wet or whether it's dry. They're just as soft as silk coming across your face. I'm going to put this back in the water, let it soak while we're talking on the intro here. And so, I have, and you may have seen it in use already, this Menturian Badger. I seated the knot. I don't remember if I got it at the Golden Nib or Elite Razor. The handle comes from Elite Razor, so I may have gotten the knot from them. Not necessarily. I'm weird like that. But I want you to notice on this Menturian Badger, in contrast to this advertised Menturian Badger, that this is what I believe is called a single band, and this is called a two band. But yet they're both Menturian Badgers. The band refers to the white. So you got a single band of white, you got a single band of dark below it. Whereas this one has got the two band with the light color on top and the light color below as well. So there's that. Now, I used this brush over the last week on my trip to Bakersfield and back. And again, it's a two band, as you can see, but this was purchased again from either Elite Razor or the Golden Nib. The handle comes from Elite Razor. This feels as soft as silk, just as soft as silk, just like as much as this one. But however, this was advertised and on the website as a high mountain white badger brush, Manchurian badger brush. This is a 2-band, this is a 2-band. They feel exactly the same, okay? High mountain white versus Manchurian badger. Same with this one as well, high mountain white. The handle comes from Elite Razor. This one definitely comes from Elite Razor because the gentleman over there seated this knot. I seated this knot, okay? But they're both 2-band, high mountain white, just as soft as silk. All right, now, that leads me to the Simpson Chubby 3 Super Badger. Now, it's certainly soft, and it's certainly a well-packed knot, but it's in comparison to the high mountain white and this advertised, let me say this too, about this Manchurian badger, it's noticeably stiffer. But when it's wet and it's got the lather in it, it is phenomenal. The tips are just like a cloud, okay? All right, now that said, it's noticeable that the Simpson Chubby 3 Super Badger is not quite. I was going to say not nearly, but that wouldn't be a fair statement. They are soft. They're almost silky. You know, it got more backbone because it's more dense. This one is just, you know, the 2 new ones from QED are just phenomenal. Also compared to the high mountain white. Now, that brings me to this one. This was advertised as a premium silver tip badger. It's a knot that comes from the golden nib. I know that for certain because this handle, I may have told you the story about having purchased a razor or a brush from VP Leon Hardy. It's a German company. It's a 30 millimeter knot. And it just started shedding like crazy. And so I notified, it took almost a year, but VP Leon Hardy done good, done well. They sent me a new brush. I didn't have to send the old one back. And so I took the knot out and seeded this from the golden nib, the premium silver tip badger. Now, you know, that just feels, it almost feels exactly like the Super Badger on the Simpson. And no comparison intended, but they look and perform and feel just nearly the same, both 30 millimeter, near 30 millimeter. Which leads me back to the VP Leon Hardy and their premium silver tip badger. Silk, just total silk coming across my face. It feels very much like, and again, this is 30 millimeter versus 24 millimeter, which this is a declared stated Manchurian. This is declared premium silver tip. Yeah, they feel exactly alike. So the reason I'm bringing that up is to illustrate the lack of consistency in the nomenclature. And for me, given who I am and what makes me who I am, that drives me insane. When there is no consistency of nomenclature, anybody can say anything about what they're selling. I always have believed, because of my earlier studies on the issue, that a Manchurian badger was a single band and was, when dry, it felt a little stiffer. but when wet, it was superior in softness. I don't know where the term high mountain white comes from, or how it relates to Manchurian. That's just super soft, as is the new ones from QED. This is a stated, but see, we got a 2-band Manchurian instead of a single band Manchurian, so I'm confused. So I said all of that to let you know there's an inconsistency in nomenclature, number one. Number two, it's going to lead me to a deep dive on reading what I can about Manchurian badgers and high mountain white. I will tell you, I am more determined now than ever that any future brush purchase will either be high mountain white or Manchurian only. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. That's the first big thing I wanted to talk about today. So let's get started. Let's introduce the equipment for the day. I've already shown you the faux horn 24 millimeter. I will say that the faux horn 24 millimeter Manchurian is small. It's small. The handle is so small. It's like, you know, I got big fat truck driver hands, right? And so, oops, dropped it. Okay, lather goes everywhere. Our soap, the good old, this is Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas to all, and to all, one and all, happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So I'm going to keep it simple today, and use the stuff that I really enjoy. I went back, opened up all my razors and said, which one? And you'll see in a minute, but I love tobacco. I love tobacco, and so we're going to use tobacco today. And for the razor, we're just going to use a simple standby, a great razor, the Dovo Bismarck. And y'all know what the Dovo Bismarck looks like. This is the first modern production quality razor that I bought in 2015 when I started all this, after all of the gold dollars that I went through. And so I felt comfortable enough with my honing that I was good with buying. This is about 30. Well, I took the first 30 days and did nothing but study before I bought anything. Then I started buying the Norton 4.8 and a couple of gold dollars. I started honing and shaving for about 30 days. And I felt comfortable enough. I was getting adequate shaves from the gold dollars that I felt adequate enough to go ahead and buy my first real razor. Of course, as money became available and permissions from she who must be obeyed. That originally was, the bevel was set on the Norton 4K. It was polished on the 8K, the reverse side, and I shaved with it. And other developments came along later, the Shapton Glass series and the natural stones that I have, and we may do something on those like I have been saying I would on the Arkansas. Okay, so let's lather up the soap and the new I'm gonna load it up. And so I said all that, I guess, to say this, that the edge I have on, the finish I have on the Bismarck now is a caudicle. This razor too, the Bismarck, is one that I spent a lot of time on early, along with some of the gold dollars, on learning the caudicle. right, that is probably good enough. All right, let's do this, get some water on my face. And so, now this lack of consistency and nomenclature, particularly on the brushes, and I've noticed this for years now, even when I was buying those knots for my own uses to seat them into various brush handles that I was buying at the time. There's like 2 or 3 down here. And then I had the special project with the VP Leon Hardy when the bristles started falling out on it. And I needed to buy and wanted to buy a top quality replacement 30 millimeter knot. And it was, I remember watching a video, it's been some years ago, and I remember watching it twice over a span. And it was informative on introducing me, my early introduction to these different levels and styles and qualities. Now remember, I'm talking about Manchurian Badger, I'm talking about High Mountain White Badger, I'm talking about Premium Silver Tip Badger. I'm not talking about anything less than those different qualities. Now I was monumentally impressed with these QED brushes, $65 for a Manchurian. And so that was, really? And of course by then I'd already ordered my Simpson Manchurian that I'm still waiting for. This is just a soft, it's lovely. Of course, it's and that's noticeable, not by actually feeling the bristles or maybe not feeling the bristles, but just how all I'm feeling is a cloud from the lather. And it's another reason I wanted to use the tobacco. I love the scent on the tobacco, but I also know that it lathers up well for me. And so I wanted to give the new brush a fair shake. Using a soap that I knew that I could lather up well, and you know, that's why I didn't use the Mitchell, for example, Mitchell Wool Fat. Got lather going everywhere. That's kind of the fun part though, isn't it? Yeah, I'm home from that load to Bakersfield, then on to Santa Maria. Boy, that was yeah, I usually go into chemical plants. We get loaded in chemical plants down here in the Gulf Houston area, you know, all the way over to New Orleans, all the way down to sometimes even Corpus Christi. We go get loaded, which is a long enough trip just to go get loaded in itself, which is one of the reasons why the company opened a satellite terminal some years ago in Corpus Christi to go get loaded, bring the loads to Houston, and then the long haul guys, they call that a drop and hook. And guys like me then get hooked up to those loads and take them on to Canada, California, wherever we're going, New York. All right, here we go. We're using the Bismarck, finished on a caudicle. It's the morning of Christmas Eve on the 24th. So here we go. And I got one more item. Oh yeah, this is just. You know, once you get a razor's bevel set, Everything else is about finishing, polishing and finishing. And you can do that with anything. And the bevel being set, whether it's with a 4K, 1K, 500, whatever it's set with, doesn't really matter because it's all about the angle. And I would add the flatness, which I go back to Dr. Matt 357's videos where he pulls out his charts and diagrams and illustrations to show the bevel plane and the angle from the spine to the apex. To me, that was very influential. You may hear some TV sounds coming from the bedroom. I've got the Pursuit channel on. Our Samsung televisions, smart TVs, come equipped with a feature of a streaming service, and it replicates or borrows a lot from Pluto TV, and we find it. We do subscribe to other. We do not subscribe to a cable service. Yeah. And so you may hear some sounds from that outdoor channel, Pursuit. And then my wife's got some Christmas carols going. On the other TV, on one of the music channels. Just wonderful. I'm gonna put a little more moisture on it. Just a little small on the handle for a big-handed guy like me. A little small. The garnet, the red one, a little bit bigger. I got all these brushes scattered out. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dry brushes set off to the side over here that I just showed you. And then number 8 is the one I'm using. And that's not even half of how many badgers I've got. And as you might be able to see in my shower window up there, I've got some synthetics and other natural hair like boar and horsehair I've largely retired those, don't use them, they don't suit my fancy. And they make for a nice decoration in that window. I got the granddaughter coming, not granddaughter, stepdaughter coming over tomorrow with the grandkids. And you know, they're my grandkids. What, you know, they're not step grandchildren, they're my grandkids. I love them. Anyway, I've already shaved the boys a number of times, but they're getting older, and the last time they weren't crazy about me doing that. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out some of those synthetic brushes and some soaps, and I'm going to teach them how to lather with a brush and then let them do themselves all up, you know. And now the oldest is like 12 or 13. The smallest is like 9. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, we'll get it out here early so that any other thing that might come up. And right here, I'm laying my blade completely flat against and just following the curvature of the chin around. I got the video going. Do I need to stop? I guess not. Yeah, I'm going to pause for a minute, guys. All right, here we go again, recommencing. So a few minutes have passed and elapsed. You can see how dry my lather's got here. The only thing I've done in the intervening period of time is put away those brushes where they belong and sat on the edge of the bed dutifully and quietly. And so now we got to rehydrate. You can see I don't know if you can see the dry flakes of the lather floating around. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention about the brushes and the nomenclature was that Plisson has a Manchurian badger, quite expensive, that they call, if I remember right, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they call it a high mountain white Manchurian. And it comes in a beautiful, at least one of the options as far as I know. And I've gone looking for it since I bought the Simpson. I cannot find it other than on eBay and in a but it's being able to be purchased new. Heck, I can't find it, which I wouldn't be opposed to buying one at some future date. But I'd want to buy a new one. I don't want to, and I don't have a problem buying a used brush per se, because they can be sanitized and cleaned easily enough. But I am curious by the language that Plisson uses on that particular Manchurian, high mountain white Manchurian that I'm thinking of. So again, the consistency of nomenclature and what it's compared to is baffling. All right, so we're gonna recommence right here. Got a sneeze coming on. All right, now the other thing I want to make reference to that I've been thinking on a little bit this morning, that I've been wanting to say every time I brought up honing, using gold dollars and beginning, learning to hone with the gold dollars and then moving on to quality new production. Every new honer, as he's learning to hone, wants to know that he's doing it right. And so he's watching the videos, he's taking whatever steps he's taking to learn the craft. There's really no, I've got 2 pointers for you. One is the shave itself. If you're honing your own razors, you've not had any outside help other than watching videos, maybe some telephone conversations, email exchanges with guys, okay, fine, good. You know, they're giving you pointers on what to do. And I've been in both positions. I've been the guy asking for help, and then I've been the guy that, you know, email and phone calls, people call me or write me and say, you know, what about this, what about that? And you're giving your advice on the things that they're asking about. And so one is the shave itself. If you're getting a satisfactory and improving shave, you know, nobody's an expert when they first start. And so early on, what we're looking for is improvement. Am I improving? Okay, so that's a good marker, right? That's a good marker. The second marker is, whatever it is you're honing on, whether it's a gold dollar or Pakistani or union razors like I get from the truck stops, I would rather buy a union razor than a gold dollar razor, only because of the ease and convenience and availability. $12.99 in a truck stop, and I can use my Love's points on them and buy them. It doesn't cost me any cash. And so I am happy with that as a convenience. All right. The second, but as you progress on from that, eventually you're going to start buying vintage razors, brand name razors, modern production razors, Dovo, a nice Wade & Butcher, or some other nice Sheffield. And the last thing anybody wants to do, as I've suggested in previous videos, like as if they didn't understand the historical and aesthetic value, what it is that they were holding in their hand. Of course they do. Nobody wants to ruin a Frederick Reynolds or a Wostenholme. I don't know if I said that right. Close enough. Or any other, the Soligen, any of the big name out of Germany. So whether a vintage razor or whether a new production razor, nobody wants to ruin something they've just spent, $150, $200, $300 on. Nobody wants to ruin it because of their inexperience of honing. So they're using the cheap tools, gold dollar, whatever, to learn. They're getting satisfactory shaves. And so then they begin, okay, I'm going to get my first nice vintage or modern production. And they're naturally concerned about being able to hone it satisfactorily. Well, a lot of these places, of course, will hone the razor for you. And that's where you really begin to learn the craft. Because the razors, when you get those razors in and they claim that they're shave ready, and you maybe talk to the guy, and so you've talked to the guy that is honing your razor. Maybe you bought a nice razor from Jared at the Superior Shave, or Gemstar, and you got a nice razor from Glenn, GS6 gun, or maybe you got something from, I don't know if Dr. Matt sells razors, but it doesn't matter. You get the point that you bought a razor from a Honemeister who also sells razors and restores them. Griffith Shaving Supplies is another one that I bought razors from, and some really nice Frederick Reynolds. So they're going to send you a shave-ready razor. Well, you guys know where I'm going with this. And that is, if your razors that you hone, your beginning razors, that you hone yourself, have as good an edge and can shave, and your razors can shave just as well as the Honemeisters when they send you these new razors that you've bought. Then you know you're getting the job done. And that's how I learned. Because I've still got several razors that have the original edge that the Homemeister put on when I bought it, and I haven't touched it other than to strop it when I use it. And of course, I've improved. I keep I hone my razors as I need to, and over the years and more recent years, say the last couple of years, as I have refreshed an edge and continue to compare it to those other razors that still have the Homemeister's edge on them, and I'm getting as good a shave on my razors, from my razors, as the Homemeister's that I still have their original edge on. I know I'm doing all right, you know? I don't know what other, you can talk about using a microscope, you can talk about using a jeweler's loupe, you can talk about scratch. I will say scratch patterns are important. Yeah, the taste meter still tastes like soap. All right, so that's the first pass. No. I gotta do the... In part, I wanted to use a razor today that had a forgiving edge like the conical, because I didn't want to goober up my face over the Christmas holidays and first day back with my wife. I would like to see any comments that y'all might have regarding the nomenclature of the Manchurian, High Mountain White, Premium Silvertip Badgers, and the comparisons. I accept the notion that the Manchurian, well, I don't know. I was going to say superior. It'd be better to say just different than the Premium Silvertip. A different quality of superior brush knot. And if you have any, include in that, the difference between premium silvertip badger and this language of high mountain white as it relates to silvertip badger and or Manchurian as Plasan uses. Or, well, yeah, just those three. Is there an interrelationship? Is there a crossover? Is there, whatever. Let me rinse that rag out. Got it all soaked up. But I think it's a fascinating subject and the direct bearing that it has upon our shave brushes and the enjoyment and just understanding what it is you're holding in your hand that's bringing you the love and joy and happiness that you're experiencing. If they come out of a different part of the world, China, Manchuria, yeah. I got home last night I got to the yard about 5 o'clock. Heavy traffic coming in on I-10 from the west, eastbound on I-10 into Houston, from about Sealy and Brookshire. If you know where those places are, you can see them on a map. So that last hour was until I got to Sam Houston Beltway. Then it was pretty smooth sailing. Got home then, got to the yard about, like I said, about 5 o'clock. By the time I got checked out and underway, it was about 6:30. Had a little extra work to do because I went to the oil field over in Santa Maria instead of delivering at the plant in Bakersfield. Yeah, he says to me on the phone, "I hope you got a clean pump and some clean hoses." And I said, "You're lucky I do, because the order didn't call for it going to where I was going in Bakersfield." And that's all I'm obliged to perform, is what the order calls for by the customer. And then you send me from a plant to the oil field and expect me to do your work for you. You think, well, I was happy about that. And then I got back and had to clean all that equipment that I used off my truck, the pump, the fittings, the hoses. One of the things I love about the Tibet and the Mitchell wool fat is that sense of lanolin that it leaves on your skin. I guess it's lanolin, I don't know. I'm thinking about letting my head shave go until tomorrow when the grandkids are here, instead of doing it today after this shave. I want to get in there with my wife anyway. I did have a hot shower at the beginning. I did use the clippers on my head, give myself a trim down. Did you give me a Santa hat yet? Those of you who are good with those artistic tools, graphic tools. Okay. I hope you have fun with your shaves. Learn about your tools. It's all part of the hobby and the craft. Learn about what it is you're using. Oh, in this spirit of Thanksgiving of the season, I want to thank all the badgers who've given their all so I can have your brush. Thank you. Your bristles. I suppose in the same vein, I ought to thank all the farmers who raise and harvest said badgers so that we can enjoy the end product. I would say it's the same to the cattle ranchers too, because I love me a good steak in Texas. You know, I saw where Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum wanted to start eating bugs and spiders as a primary source of protein. Yeah, we'll put a little coal in his stocking. Okay. We're about done. I got now when my wife and I decide we want to go on vacation, we turn on the Travel Channel and watch all those destinations in Tahiti and Hawaii and Alaska, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana. We love the West. We love the mountains by proxy. No, our favorite vacation destination is what my wife calls a staycation. Now this might be a little bit harder use of a brush than what is recommended. I saw the Simpson instructions, you know, but but what I'm trying to do here is, one, it's a little bit of a test on a new brush, but the other is just a little something new, and that is wet it up. It's kind of like what some guys do at the beginning to really get a thick and heavy lather, and that's good and fine, but you know, as your usage goes on during the course of a shave, you know, that lather dries out down inside the knot. And I'm trying to revitalize all that. See, look at that. Look at that. So your lather at the end is as good as the lather at the beginning, especially when you lay it on heavy like I do into the brush when you're first lathering. And so you got all that soap sitting in there, drying out, which I'm sure is not good. I got all that went down in there. I saw that big glob drop down in there. I got something else I've been thinking on about, listening to others that I've recently heard talk about their honing efforts not being satisfactory. And I think I know why, or at least I have an idea. And it's contrary to common understanding. But if you listen to Lynn Abrams in his early videos on honing, it's there. He doesn't emphasize it like I'm maybe thinking about doing, but this is a topic for a future conversation, but I'm setting you up. Well, come on now. There we go. I don't think I've lost a single bristle out of that new brush. That's the first usage on that too. You probably can't hear it, but that Christmas carol that's playing out of the living room is rocking around the Christmas tree. Is that it? That old 60s carol, rock and roll carol. I like that. That's a fun song. That's a fun song. That's a stroke that I don't often do, left-handed, coming up the left side of the face under the neck like that. But that gives me a little bit of a jump on the right hand when I switch back over to the right hand like I'm fixing to do. Does that stroke count as a glide? Coming sideways across the chin, like that. And on that one, I reversed direction. Did you notice that? I come up like this. So if you're out driving over the next week or so, Christmas, New Year's, be especially careful. Be careful around the big trucks. You know, they probably didn't get a chance to be home for the holidays, and they're frustrated, tired, want to be home. Be safe around them. Give them plenty of space. Make it your duty to give them plenty of space. They've got schedules to keep. Everybody has somewhere to go and they want to get there at a certain rate of time, but those guys actually get paid and or fined or docked if they don't get there on time. So give them all the space. I'll say it this way, stay out of their way. Stay out of the way. Don't impede their progress. Be safe with the truck drivers. They're actually doing the country a great service during supply chain issues, international issues, pray that the country wises up over mandatory vaccines, particularly for truck drivers going into Canada. If Trudeau goes through with his January threat for U.S. truck drivers going into Canada, I will never go into Canada again. You know, same is true with New York, you know, these individual states. But I did see yesterday where the Supreme Court is going to take up the issue of mandates on the vaccines and masks and whatever, you know. So if these measures actually worked, do we really need mandates? I mean, you know, if I'm not wearing a mask and you are wearing a mask, are you protected? Why are you worried about me then? I've been all over U.S. and Canada over the last 2 years. Healthy as a horse. Now, I'm not unmindful of these things either. I take a lot of vitamin D. I take a lot of vitamin C, quercetin. I think I said that right. I listen to Dr. Robert McCullough and Zev Zelenko a lot. Others as well. I forget what the gentleman's first name is out of England. Coleman is the last name. Listen to him a lot on the what's going on. Notice who I didn't mention that I listened to. No. There's something wrong when your government is taking away your rights. Something wrong. I think Thomas Jefferson had something to say about that. Doing a little pull on the right there, as I'm sure you noticed. I found it interesting this last week that Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of England, said that the vaccine does not protect you from getting COVID, nor does it protect against transmission from you. So I can get it and give it with the vaccine. Interesting. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Oops, I forgot a spot. Yeah, good. Good, all right. I haven't gone the talcum powder route yet. Don't know that I will, but I'm certainly thinking about it. I'd like to know. And I appreciate very much what Barber Dave said in a recent video where he said, if your barber is not doing that, get a new barber. So there's a history. I remember going to the barber years ago before I started cutting my own hair. You know, I'm and done. Now, looks good. And I think I found my sweet spot for the camera placement. And that is below center on the mirror, enough so that I can see straight over the camera into the mirror and the camera not block my vantage point. And so I think I'm okay with the mount. It just took a long while to play with it, because you're always thinking about other things. You know, when you're in the truck stops and you're trying to get going, even at home, you know, there's demands placed upon your time that you need to get this done and over with, but you want to enjoy it, but you still need to get out and spend time with the lovely. All right, so we use the Dovo Bismarck, wonderful shave. I love this razor. It has a lot of nostalgia and personal sentiment for me because it was my first purchased razor. We're also pleased with the new Manchurian. Can you see that? QED Select Manchurian silver tip, it says. So there's another word added, silver tip. Not just a Manchurian, it's a Manchurian silver tip, which I think that also, of course, that, I say, the Plasson says Manchurian High Mountain White. So all of these combinations of words make understanding of the knots confusing. What else? And then the soap this morning was the tobacco. I love this. The smell is so pleasing to me. Okay, then we're going to top off here with the Thayer's Lavender Witch Hazel. And oh, no, I see exactly what I'm going to do. Old Spice. We're just going to go old school. What could go better with tobacco than Old Spice? Okay, so let's do this. Now, would you look at that time? I'm at 52 minutes, almost. But yeah, for a face shave, 52 minutes. Now I'm sure I'm putting this on too quick, but oh yeah, we're getting a good little burn out of that. That's all right. Now my Ozma Allen block seems to block the sting a lot better than the Witch Hazel, the Thayer's. I don't understand the chemicals and the intended effect and all that stuff. So, but anyway, there we are. We're done. You all have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Love your families, enjoy your families, and just have a great weekend. And we'll see you on the next shave just in a couple of days. Talk to you later. See you down the road. Bye.